Hey, Scott.
Scott.
What do you do about this lineup that's in flux, and how do you give your team the best chance to mold together by Sunday and win a game?
Well, the first thing we got to do is just as the week goes on, keep trying to understand exactly who it is we got. And then you got to put a game plan in that fits their skills. Obviously, it's a challenging situation. This game's coming Sunday, no excuses in the NFL. So we just got to get our guys ready to play, and our guys got to do a great job of, being flexible. Some guys might have to move around a little bit, play some multiple spots. So they got to be diligent in their work habits, getting going in through the week, and then got to go give it our best.
Scott, how do you put together a game plan when you're not sure who's going to be there?
We put in a different variety of things, and then, based on who's there, some stuff you'll be able to use and some stuff you won't. Like I said, you cross-train some different guys to be able to do a few different things. So, there's a little bit of flexibility there. And then it's just got to be an ever-changing document that goes all the way up till the game starts on Sunday, or until that last test comes in, I guess.
Scott, during a normal week, how much of your game plan is toward the specific players you have versus the defense you're going to be facing? I guess, how much changes this week when you don't know?
Quite a bit. It's a combination. We haven't had much of this, but when your team is relatively healthy and you got the same guys week in and week out, your player strengths, so you know what you're going to have. So then really just matching that to the scheme of the defense, or the different player weaknesses or strengths that you're going to see from the opponent. But then when your team changes, it just adds another layer to it. I don't know. It's a combination of all those things.
Does it help for you that at least with the run game, you have most of the offensive linemen, you do have your starting back, and you do have two experienced tight ends? Does that at least give you a base to build on?
Yeah, the run game wouldn't change much anyways. You can only do so much, so as far as what we're going to do run game wise, you just change up some formations, maybe the type of run you might run may change a little bit, but yeah, that part of it, I shouldn't say stays the same because we're pretty multiple, but you can get that part of it done.
With Kyle Shermer, what can you tell us about his progress throughout the year and what we would see from him if he needs to go out there?
He's done a nice job. He's a smart guy, prepares. He's a coach's son. So the games, knows football, been around it his whole life. Really important to him. I've been impressed with him, just his work ethic, as far as just his overall understanding of the game throughout the time. And he's got a little bit more work and practice this week. And I think I got a pretty good idea of the things that he's comfortable with, and we'll keep, having those conversations working throughout the week where if he has to go, that we'll be able to, put him in some situations to be successful.
In your mind, what went wrong for Taylor last week against the Cowboys?
Obviously we had the turnovers, and those were just kind of, some plays where they were aggressive, came after us. And they really just made some plays. They got some pressure on Taylor. They were hitting them. And then, as the game went on, I think he pressed a little bit, but he was taking some shots. And it was just one of those days, where we didn't play good as a group. I think, over the 4-game winning streak, Taylor probably got maybe a little more credit than he deserves. And when you lose as a quarterback, you probably get more blame than you deserve. It's just part of the deal. I don't think any of us had a very good day Sunday. We fought and we were able to, score a couple touchdowns in the second half and give us a chance there late. But, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough when you're playing this league. And it obviously starts with me. I can be better. And I think offensively as a group, we be better. It's not just Taylor.
I know you had John Toth, on practice squad for a bit during training camp and throughout the season, but how much did you know about him before?
I just knew him from when we had him in training camp. He's a guy that, did a nice job, smart guy, those guys, that's what you need really when you have guys in there at center. I think he moves pretty well. He was gone and then he came back, and I think he bulked up a little bit, which is good, obviously, for playing inside on the offensive line. But he's done a nice job in practice these last couple of days, and he's excited, for an opportunity. And that's one of the pluses of this situation is some of these guys that haven't had a chance to play, get a chance to show what they're capable of.
Hey, Scott, I'm sorry, Nikki, do you have another one, Nikki?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to ask you, I know it's probably not a possibility to even postpone it, but would you have wanted that? Would that have made a difference for you given the circumstances?
I don't even think about that kind of stuff. That's up to the league. And, whenever they tell us it's time to go, we'll put the best team out there that we got and give our best effort to go get a win. And like I said, there's a lot of guys that'll, have some opportunities and they're looking to maybe surprise some people. And they're for all the negative and all the bad stuff there is about, guys not being able to play, there's a positive side of this that maybe some people that it's been their dream to play are going to get an opportunity to actually play in games. And, they're going to treat it like pros, and they're going to make sure they get their best out of their opportunity.
Hey, Scott, going back to Taylor for a minute, it seems like like you said, gets maybe too much credit during the streak, maybe too much when you lose. But with him, it seems like there is a referendum on his game every week, how he plays. When you look at him, and sometimes how do you look and say, okay, this is a part of the growth process versus this is a guy hitting his ceiling and knowing how much more he can grow?
Yeah, I don't ever think about that as a ceiling. I look at every single game individually. We had some tough plays in that game. I mean, he got picked off on a receiver screen by a defensive end. I mean, it's not like he read the coverage bad and forced it in. Now he had some other plays that, maybe he did some balls that weren't great throws. He was battling out there. I mean, obviously he got banged up. We're fortunate that he's able to, to be okay. And it just was a tough day. Like I said, it was a tough day for everybody against a good team. And, we got Philly this week, and we'll get those guys in a couple weeks. And, it's an unfortunate deal, but I don't look at it as like a, some, giant big picture thing on the growth of Taylor. I mean, I think I've said it before. I mean, the path to success is not a straight line. And, you play in this league and you play enough games in this league, unfortunately, you're going to have days like we did on Sunday. And I think the biggest thing is just going to be how we respond coming back from it, to both Taylor, myself, and the rest of the offense.
Do you think he sometimes gets judged by the fact that he was an undrafted guy and people still, maybe it's hard to sometimes move past that for some guys?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you know what though? Like, you say that, but you can say that about, like, you guys obviously are in this business, so you read more of this stuff than I do. But like, I mean, think about how much Lamar Jackson gets killed, or like Josh Allen was the best quarterback that's ever played, and then they've had a couple tough games, and now it's like, is he really that good? I mean, it's just, people are going to write stories about guys, and they're going to ride the wave, whether it's highs or lows. And if you're out there playing as a starting quarterback in this league, you better have thick skin, because you ain't going to win them all. And when you don't, people are going to come after you.
Two more.
It'd be hard to answer this, I'm sure, in a timely fashion, but what would you miss if you had no Terry McLaurin this weekend?
I mean, you miss just having your number one guy out there, and someone that's going to, we've talked about, bring it every single play. And obviously when he's on the field, the defense has a big target on his back, and they're, doing a lot to try to stop him. So it makes them be able to play a little bit more balanced. And then just the fact of the different plays that he can potentially make over the course of a game.
Hey, Scott, Curtis Samuel is back on the injury report with now the different injury, but after the game, Ron said he played a limited role against Dallas because of the game plan situation. I guess, where are you at right now with how Curtis kind of fits in with everything?
No, Curtis is great. And I think, I'm not, and I don't want to speak for Coach, but, with the Taylor situation, and then with the Terry situation, he was actually on the defensive headset, and it was communicated to me that Curtis had a little bit of a dinged up deal with his hamstring. So that's when he was actually taken out. So it wasn't like he was playing up until I think somewhere in the third quarter. Whenever Terry got knocked out of the game, it was at the same deal, and coach didn't hear that. And I just don't think that was communicated to him before he had that press conference after the game. So that's basically what happened there. I mean, Curtis, he wasn't going to play. I don't know what he played. He played 20 snaps the week before. We were looking to up it a little bit, and then obviously, unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish.
We'll line up the guys we have and be ready to go. So we're working at it, trying to make sure that we are prepared to do our job and to help our football team find a way to win the game.
On Sunday was telling us that you guys, the night before the game, when you lose both your edge rushers, were looking for guys to play on the edge. What was that like, losing James and Casey, right before kick, and what's it been like, the rest of this week?
Somebody said we were looking around for guys to play. We weren't looking around. We knew who we had that was going to be up, and it's next man up. I mean, that's what you do, and I thought our guys did a great job. I thought we answered the bell. I thought we played well, and we gave our team a chance. At the end of the game, we had the ball with an opportunity to either tie or go ahead, and so despite all the different things that were potential alibis of why you're not going to play well, I thought we did a good job of focusing on the task at hand and going out and playing well and sticking together, and I was very proud of the effort.
Hey, Jack, you have some young guys obviously playing, Shaka and some of those other guys. How much can just a couple games help their growth as players, and where do you see that growth maybe take place?
Well, anytime you get a chance to play, you get a chance to express yourself. I think that's beneficial. They're certainly getting experience. You gain from that experience. You get a little confidence. You get more reps. You get more time. And more opportunity. And so, yeah, I mean, Shaka, Boomy, all the guys that end up playing. Wise moved outside. He can go inside or outside for us. Guys were doing their job, and locked into what their assignment was, what they needed to do to get done for us. And I thought did a nice job for us.
Jack, do you have any sense of what Montez Sweat would be able to provide you if he's cleared to play on Sunday, given that he hasn't gone in a while?
Yeah, I mean, he would be a boost to get a guy like Montez back. I know he's working out. I've seen him via Zoom. I know he's hopeful that will occur. We would love to see it. How many plays will he end up playing if he gets cleared and can play? I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, it would be a lift to get, one of your better players back for sure.
Just to follow up on that, Jack. So he obviously had not played for several weeks before this. So do you think from a football perspective, conditioning perspective, he would be able to go, all things considered, if he's cleared?
Yes.
Okay. Separate question. Obviously it's an opportunity for different guys to be able to step up and play. Jeremy Reaves is a guy that Ron has cited often as somebody who's kept a positive attitude even when he hasn't been active or on the roster. He may be one of those guys. What has stood out to you from that perspective about his attitude and about what he may be able to do for you on Sunday?
Yeah, Jeremy is a pro. He's been on point. He's been anxious all year. I was joking with him last week. I said, don't be following Landon and trying to trip him or something, to make sure you give yourself a chance to play. So he's excited about the opportunity to get on the field, wherever it is, special teams, defense, any way he can help us. He's all in, and love the way he prepares. He's bright, and he gives great effort. So we would welcome him back in any role that needs to be played.
Thank you.
Jack, what is the process like when you lose so many guys so quickly? I mean, how do you coordinate with personnel and finding reinforcement, be it on the practice squad or like Akeem Spence?
Yeah, that's the scouting department, Marty and Martin and Eric and those guys. I mean, they do a great job of bringing in the next available and the most talented available, and guys that fit what we're doing and how we do things, and we just plug them in and coach them up. and that's really, that's a simplified version of it. I mean, I know there's a lot of complexity to it, but we work hand in hand, and the scouting part kind of identifies the guys, brings them to us, and then we coach them up and get them prepared. And, at the end of the day, when they put the ball down, we'll be ready to compete.
Jack,
Go ahead.
what's the closest situation in your career that might compare to a week like this for you, and what lessons might you draw?
Yeah, you can't draw from a lesson in the past from anything close to this, nothing resembling this. So I think the way that I like to approach it is we're going to prepare, and we love to compete. And so at the end of the day, whoever it is that we line up, we're counting them to understand what to do and then go hard, give us what they have, and then we compete. And I love to compete. And so whatever, checkers. It could be a game board. It could be any kind of ball. Put a ball down and let's play. And so I think that's what our mentality is. We're preparing. We're excited about the opportunity to play. We know the Philly is doing a nice job. They've been playing really good football. They're running the ball extremely well, and there's some definite challenges that we're looking to dial in. But we're just looking for that preparation, that urgency, that focus, and then like I said, put the ball down.
Two more.
Hey, Jack, what have you seen from Shaka Toney? And I'm kind of wondering, when was the first, it seems like there's a lot of plays where he just kind of like pops out. When was the first time you kind of noticed him, whether it was the draft, training camp, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we thought enough of him to draft him. He's somebody that late in the draft that stood out to me to have a chance to develop and become a really good player for us. So he's a work in progress. I mean, he's a young player. He's learning. When things are certain and he goes hard, he can be impactful. And we just need that to be more often, more consistent. And that's like most young players. But happy to have him, happy to be working with him. And I think he's improved as we've gone through the year.
How does Kendall Fuller's absence on Sunday most affect the secondary?
How does his absence affect us most?
Yeah, where will you miss him most, or what can the plan be to maybe replace a guy of that type of caliber?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing we've been talking about, with the D-line, next guy up, be ready to roll. And, obviously Kendall's one of our better players. You're going to miss your better players, but that's not where the focus is. I think for us, the focus is on the guys that we have, their assignments, their responsibilities, and them going out and competing and having fun.
Jamin, what's this week been like for you guys? Just with so many guys landing on the COVID list and having to adjust.
Well, I mean, just like you said, we just have to adjust, honestly. Next man up is no really time to sit around and just feel pity for anything that's going on right now. We just got to take advantage of whatever situation that we have and just go play ball.
Are you at all worried, just with the rate things are spreading? Do you have any worry about just being out there?
No, not really. I mean, I'm just doing whatever I can to make sure I keep myself protected and just making sure I'm walking around and just staying masked up at the facility. And just trying to just keep my distance from everybody just to be safe.
How do you adjust to potentially playing with a whole new group of linemen in front of you?
I mean, that's just something that we already was prepared for. I mean, just knowing that you always got to have the next man up mentality. You never know who's going to go down and whatever the case may be. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to be just a big cultural shock or anything like that. We just have to be ready and just going to go out there and do what we need to do.
When's the first time you heard next man up?
That's something that's been around probably my entire career, honestly, dating all the way back to rec leagues. I mean, you never know what'll end up happening. You never know who's going to end up getting hurt or getting popped with COVID or anything like that. So it's always been next man up mentality.
Why do you think football players specifically seem to be so good at just blocking out outside noise and focusing on the game. I mean, you guys are dealing with quite a bit, and every player we've talked to this week has just been like, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be out there on Sunday.
I mean, that's one of those things that naturally just it comes with the game, honestly. That was something that I had to eventually learn as well, even dating back to college. It's not about what the outside noise is saying about you or what they think about what's going on with your circumstances. At the end of the day, we the ones that's putting on the pads and going out there and doing what we love to do. So that's all it really boils down to. You just go out there and play the game you love.
But you want to have that mentality, but this is like a next unit up at this point. Is there a little bit of shell shock at all? Like, oh my gosh, there's so-and-so is out. Now so-and-so is out. At what point do you just shake your head? I mean, what's that like when you hear another guy is out?
I mean, well, of course you want it to stop eventually, but it's just a real adverse situation. You can't really sit around and dwell on it. Like I said before, it's just really a next man up mentality. And you just know that you got to be able to trust the guy that's next to you and prepare as such. So it's not like you can just sit around and just wonder if I'm going to be the next man to drop or wonder if he's even going to be beside me this Sunday coming up. You just got to go out there and prepare, like, I don't know, like just prepare like you're going to have to just be ready to be switched up at any moment.
Yeah, obviously there's been a lot going on, but, fortunately, I think everyone kind of went through the same thing last year. I don't know about to this degree of chaos, but, we're doing good. We're just trying to, keep our heads up, stay focused because we still got a game that we got to play on Sunday, regardless of who's there and who's not. So trying to stay focused to the task at hand.
John, so much of this sport, people like to build on familiarity with the guy next to you, with those around you. In a situation like this, how hard is that, and how do you compensate for that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just gotta trust everyone, no matter who's that spot next to us, because this is everyone's job, and your job is to expect to show up and to know what you're doing on Sunday when it comes game time. And so you just gotta trust that the guy next to you knows what he's doing and that he's gonna go out there and do his job just as good as anyone else could.
What is the challenge for this offense? When you look at the Eagles defense, what is the challenge for this offense?
Obviously they're a pretty good team right now. They're kind of in the same situation as us, trying to fight to make it into the playoffs. And so, they got some good defensive players. They got a good defensive line up front, solid, good secondary. And so, just finding ways to beat these guys and, do whatever we can to the best of our ability.
When do you think is the first time you heard the phrase "next man up"?
Probably in college.
Like, do you believe it? I guess. Like, how do you believe next man up?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of going back to what I said. This is a professional job, and you're expected, no matter what the situation is, to if it's go time for you, it's go time for you, and you're expected to perform at a high level and to know what you're doing and perform your job. So yeah, I do believe that.
Jeremy, what has this past week been like for you guys as players, just seeing so many of your teammates just kind of get wiped out with the COVID protocols? How do you adjust, and just what has it been like?
It's tough, honestly. You're always prepared for this because we've been dealing with it for a year now. You have things in place that prepare you for if an outbreak happens, but when it happens at such an alarming rate, it's kind of taking everybody by surprise. But the mentality is the same in the locker room and in the building. Kind of just the next man's got to step up and continue the standard that's already been set. So the expectations don't drop off because people are missing. Everybody in here holds each other to the same standard. So that's really the mindset.
Jeremy, for you, and you get, like Jack just said, a lot of guys are now going to get a chance. What kind of energy can guys like yourself provide who have been kind of aching and dying for a chance this year?
Just go play ball. Honestly, the passion, the energy, the fuel, it's always been there. Now you just get an opportunity to go do it. And so you just do what you've always done, as a player. You go out there and you help your team win and you make plays when they come to you. And you just don't try to do too much. Stay within the system, stay within your responsibility. And like I said, when the plays come to you, you make them. But the energy and the all of that stuff, it's always been there. Now you just get to unleash it against somebody.
What's changed most about your game since we saw you at the end of last year?
Honestly, just learning it more. Becoming more of a student, even more than I was of the game. You know, when you sit back and you're back in the passenger seat again, and you're watching, you're very, particular of like what you're seeing, and you're diagnosing things, and you start to learn concepts, and you start to learn like where offenses really try to attack our defense. And so you become like very, very programmed to these things. And so when you get out there, like, okay, if we're in this coverage or if we're in this scheme, like this is where they're going to try to attack us. So this is how I'm going to play this concept. Or if I see this formation, this is the concept that I'm going to get out of it. So it's all about just being in the right place, learning the X's and O's of the game, and just making the play.
Hey, Jeremy, after going through, getting that opportunity last year and playing well, and then having to go back on the practice squad, like why did you want to stick around? Because technically you were released. I guess you could have had an option to go somewhere else. Why did you stay here, and what made you want to do that?
It was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was tough. When you work so hard to get to a point where you think you've reached, you broke that barrier of, okay, like now the world has seen the player that I am. And now you think you're never going to go back to the place that you were in before. And, coming into camp, you have high expectations of yourself. And, you go out there and you compete every day. You go into the preseason games, it's the same thing. And then you fall short. And sometimes that's just life. My mother, she was very big on, you don't quit something. When you started, you finish it. And so I know I have a purpose here. And I know that, God has something for me here. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know I'm going to stay the course no matter what.
Jeremy, with the rate this is spreading, do you at all worry about being out there? Are you at all concerned?
Honestly, no. I know who controls my destiny. I have full faith in God, and that, he'll see us through and he'll see me through. And so I believe that everything happens for a reason, and what's meant for you will always be for you. And so no, I'm not worried. I'm letting things take course, and I'm preparing as if I'm going to be out there and playing, and I'll let the rest take care of itself.
Jeremy, but when you have so many guys like every day going on that list, do you kind of look around like I don't, do you get paranoid, or that it's going to, who else is going to be on there? And is it hard not to just kind of like be a little bit shell shocked by all this?
It's human nature, honestly, because nobody wants to hear their name called. Nobody wants to be the guy that says, hey, like, you tested positive. So yes, it can be nervous, but at the end of the day, like, you still have a job to go do out there every day. You still have to practice. You still have to, go out there and get the reps to prepare for the game. And so although it can be nerve-wracking at times, like, you have to put that in the back of your mind, and you have to almost like program yourself to not think about it.
Two more. Jeremy, with the new guys in the secondary, I guess not so new anymore, but William Jackson and Bobby McCain, what have you learned from them in the past year?
Honestly, those are two veteran guys that have been in the league for a very long time. They've seen a lot of ball. They play a lot of ball. And so just watching their game and taking different things from their game and talking with them and see how they see things and how I see things and how that can align. That's some of the biggest things. Obviously, Bobby was a very position flex guy in Miami. He played nickel. He was a corner. He's a safety. He was kind of like me. I was that way in college and coming into the league. So I identify with his game a lot. And so just picking his mind seeing what he sees and understanding, the things that he understands. And honestly, like, we give each other feedback. If I see a certain thing that he might be able to play a certain way, I might chime in to him, and he does the same for me. So it's kind of just building off each other. And same with Will Jack. It's just feeding each other information, learning what they understand, and kind of just taking that for himself.
Last one.
Is there any specific feedback you've gotten from Bobby that stands out that maybe you've tried to incorporate in your game?
Honestly, just seeing the whole formation. Offenses tell you everything that you need to see out there. Whether that's if they're 2x2, splits. What's the split? Who's to what side? Because at the end of the day, everything's based off concepts. Everything's based off concepts depending on the coverage you're in. And so when you're out there in the post safety, when you get your depth, you have to be able to see the whole field while also, seeing the quarterback. So it's almost like your vision's all on quarterback, but you're feeling route concepts. So it's more of a field thing that I've kind of gotten from him, just how to feel route concepts as they've come down the field and developed. And as I've been on the P squad, when I take my reps out there, like, I've incorporated that into my game.